YouTube channel VanilleCouture. I am Lili and today I'm super excited because I would like to share with you my perfect sugar cookie recipe. I am sure you're gonna fall in love with it because number one, you're gonna love its flavor. It's super yummy. It is a non-spread cookie recipe, and the third one, but not least one, is that it is super easy to work with. So let me introduce to you the ingredients that we're gonna use for this recipe, and then let's get started. For this cookie recipe, we will be using 400 grams of all-purpose flour, and I'm gonna be adding just a pinch of salt, okay? So the pinch of salt is basically to enhance the flavors. It is one of the best tips in pastry. And then we will be following by 150 grams of icing sugar, okay? Then we will also be using 1 piece of egg. And in our egg, well, basically it has to weigh in between 50 to 55 grams. And I'm gonna be adding one of our best ingredients, which is our VanilleCouture vanilla extract. I'm gonna add to my piece of egg 1 tablespoon, okay, of vanilla extract. And last but not least, we will be using 200 grams of unsalted butter, and this has to be previously softened. So now let's begin by adjusting in our stand mixer the paddle attachment. And I will include my paddle attachment because I don't want to add so much air bubbles into our mixture. However, if you will be preparing this recipe with a hand mixer, you will only have the whisk attachment. You can definitely do it, but once we go to add our flour, then you definitely need to do that manually. Let's start then by adding our butter into our mixing bowl. Let's start creaming it. Once we notice that our butter is fully creamed, we're gonna be adding our next ingredient, which is gonna be our icing sugar. We will do this in a very low speed, and we will start adding it. Our icing sugar is gonna create a different texture in our cookie. We're gonna have a crisp cookie, but with a little bit of tenderness, so it can be a little bit softer to the bite. I'm gonna stop my mixer just to scrape down the sides of my bowl, just to make sure that everything is fully integrated. My butter with my sugar. And we will keep mixing at a very medium to low speed. In the meantime, I'm going to start breaking my piece of egg with my vanilla with the help of a fork. This is what I would like to do for my egg to integrate easier to my mixture. Perfect. Now let's add our piece of egg with our vanilla extract to our butter and sugar mixture. As you can see, our mixture looks quite silky smooth. This is what we want to have before we add our egg, and then we will start adding it slowly. If you need at this point, you can just increase a little bit the speed of our mixer. And I add my last bit of egg. Now that my egg is fully integrated, I'm going to stop my mixer, and I will clean once again the sides of my bowl and a little bit of my paddle attachment, because our next ingredient is going to be our all-purpose flour itself. So I'm going to start in a low speed setting, and now it's time to incorporate our all-purpose flour slowly. And before it is fully integrated, one last scrape to my bowl. And I do this to avoid over mixing or over beating our cookie dough. Okay, this is just an extra help, because if we overbeat our sugar cookie, our cookies will start to shrink, and we don't want that. Okay. You will start noticing how it starts to look more compact. That is exactly what we're looking for, and how slowly the sides of our bowl will start to be cleaner. And look, this is exactly what I was trying to explain to you. The sides of my bowl is completely clean. And if I just take a small portion of our cookie, it looks and it feels a little bit similar to Play-Doh. It is not greasy, it still holds its shape. And now it's time to roll out our cookie dough. And for that, I will be rolling out my cookie dough in between parchment paper. This is to avoid to dehydrate or dry out our cookie dough with flour, okay? So we will be using parchment paper, and we will also be using this rolling pin that has these extra guidelines with different widths. And in this case, I will be using for my cookies the 6mm one, which is equal to 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so now let's start. I will try not to play too much with my cookie dough, just to hold it as less as possible. Because remember that the heat of our hand may also affect its temperature and its pliability. So I'm just going to start making like a small base. Now I'm going to add my parchment paper on top, and now I will start rolling it out. It is super important that if you find at this point that your parchment paper is wrinkling, you need to take it off. Do this for it to be completely smooth. Okay. We will start adding pressure until our cookie dough is not showing any movement anymore, and that means that we have achieved the perfect width. Now that we have our cookie dough completely rolled out, I'm only going to transfer it into a baking tray, and I'm going to put it into the fridge to chill for about 2 hours. This is previous before we start baking it, okay? I will gently peel off our parchment paper from the dough. For this, I will use an oval cookie cutter, placing it on the side of my dough, and I will gently press it down. It is super important for my dough to stick to my cookie cutter, because that means it has the right temperature, and that will help to keep the shape after baking time. I'm going to place it over my perforated baking mat, and I will gently press the cookie dough out of the cutter. I will repeat the process with my other cookie shapes. My cookies have been sitting 15 minutes prior in the fridge, and now it's time to put them inside the oven for 15 minutes approximately at 350 degrees. Our cookies are super ready to get them out of the oven. How do I know that my cookies are ready to take them out of the oven after these 15 minutes? I'll know because the edges will start slightly browning or having like a golden look. You can clearly see these in my Mrs. Claus. You'll see the edges starting to be slightly golden. So my sweet bakers, this was our perfect sugar cookie recipe. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you give it a try. And please leave us any comments below if you enjoyed this class. Remember to also give us a like and also to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We send you a big hug and kiss from Mexico City. I am Lili from VanilleCouture, and I hope to see you soon.